I think that the trip that is portrayed as a trip to the Middle East is just a cover-up for the real intention of this mission or trip by Joe Biden, which is basically to meet with Saudi Arabia, or to convince Saudi Arabia to increase the output of the oil production. The real purpose and the timing of the trip made by Joe Biden is pretty clear. We know that the midterm elections in the United States are coming. President Biden's ratings in the poll is very low, and it is due because of the high inflation in the country. It is also due to the high gasoline prices, and unfortunately it will also further diminish President Joe Biden's standing within his own party, which is strongly against this visit and giving any concessions to Saudi Arabia and Prince bin Salman specifically, but also it will signal to the world that the United States is not so principled in their foreign policy. Because if you call a country like Saudi Arabia, as President Joe Biden did during his presidential campaign, a pariah state, which is an insult, and then afterwards, when the special operation or the conflict in Ukraine broken out, you come to conclusion that really and truly you need to go to Saudi Arabia and have and give a concession to the country. You're not, sticking to your own guns. So your inconsistency will backfire within your own Democratic Party, and also be weaponized and used by the Republicans. So this is my conclusion, that this will not have any significant impact. It will only backfire and it will impact the global standing of the United States, and most importantly of President Joe Biden. United States is unwilling to antagonize Israel, and we know that Israel has a very hard stance vis-a-vis Palestinian people. They are expanding their settlements towards West Bank. This will not have any impact. This is a frozen conflict, but I'm not sure whether the United States is really and truly interested in improving the conditions of Palestinian people, or mediate a diplomatic solution to Palestinian cause. I think that China and other international players done much more by attempting at least to bring both sides to the table. And I think that the United States policy vis-a-vis Palestinian people was more detrimental than helpful. So, and first of all, we have to bear in mind that this is not the core point of Joe Biden's trip to the Middle East. The Palestinian cause and Israeli affairs are just a cover-up for the meeting with the Saudi prince and mediating and persuading the Saudi Arabia to increase the oil output. I think that we've clearly seen throughout these 3 months so far that Joe Biden and his administrations were unsuccessful in persuading the global South countries to share the same view as the global North or the West. I would say these countries don't see the conflict in Ukraine as a conflict between Ukraine and Russia. These countries perceive this conflict, and rightly so, simply a proxy war between the NATO and Russia. In 2014, I was in Ukraine, and I've seen with my own eyes how the United States was meddling in this situation, pushing the protesters to go against the current president at that moment. So answering your question, I'm not sure and that President Biden will succeed. Because if you want to have a stop to the conflict, you are not sending weapons. You are asking both sides to sit at the table. But if you supply weapons to the region, the natural outcome will be that this conflict will be prolonged. And what we are seeing is that the NATO and United States specifically is just, supplying more weapons. And people around the world just seeing this, and also leaders in the Middle East are perfectly aware of what is happening on the ground. They are unwilling to take sides in this conflict. That's one thing. And second thing, they are afraid or not willing to antagonize Russia, because they see and know that Russia, both with China and other BRICS countries, are forming something else. They are trying to move from the unipolar world, where the United States is a hegemon, towards a multipolar world, where all the countries, through the diplomatic solutions and conversation and respect for all the countries' respective governments and solutions that the countries and their citizens embrace in their respective countries, to form a democratic world order where every single voice and country is equally respected, rather than having someone who is imposing on its own will on other countries. So I think that the Middle Eastern countries, they want to participate in this shift. They want to participate in this more equal world order, rather than being in this outdated and dying, so to speak, hegemonic unipolar world.